Well, hello everyone. Um, Today we're gonna be in the Boeing 757-200 special freighter, and we're gonna be flying over to Atlanta from Memphis. So here's a bit of an outside view. We have not started the aircraft yet. Everything's off. We're on Memphis FS Dream Team scenery and the DHL livery. So let's go ahead and start the process here. So we'll go ahead and get ground power, wheel chocks, cargo doors, and open. In the process of that, we'll go ahead and turn these guys on and turn these on so we can actually see what we're doing. And APU isolation on, battery, auto. We accepted the ground power, which will automatically give us access to all of these guys here because we have ground power. But while we do that, we'll go ahead and get our electric pumps and hydraulic pumps going. Start the APU, and all dampeners are going to be on, and align our IRSs. Alright, left pumps, right pumps, and center pumps will be on. And set that to both, and just turn those guys on, because why not? Everything else looks good here. We'll need isolation for the startup. Okay, so the APU is running. We'll go ahead and acknowledge those cautions there. Double check our FMC here. So let's go ahead and get our route going here. Kilo Mike Echo Mike, and we'll be going to Kilo Alpha Tango Lima, and that's all we need in there for right now. And all of this looks good, so we will go ahead and request add-ons, GSX. Well, I don't want to do that. Let me do. Gotta remember how to do this. Well, apparently it doesn't recognize where I am, so I guess I won't be able to load cargo. I love how every time I stream, like 90% of it doesn't go right, but we're not going to complain about it the entire time here. Turn the flight directors on. I guess we can just reposition this aircraft. Auto brakes, RTO. And we'll do that. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and program the FMC. Depart BB King 6, Kermie 18 Center, route activate, execute. All that looks good. Will be RNAV into ribs, so we'll put that in. We are arriving on the Glavin 1 with the Rusa transition, on the ILS 08 left with the Jazz transition, execute. Legs, go ahead and put that in there. Looks like all that looks good. Let's go to init ref. So we have all our numbers in here. We'll be cruising at flight level 330. Cost index we'll do 170. Reserves we'll put 20,000 in there, and the rest of these numbers are good. We'll double check this. Our speeds for climb, cruise, and descent look good. All of our numbers in here look good. Since there's no air traffic control on today, we will not be on VATSIM because there's really no point. At this point, we can go ahead and turn these guys on and open these valves, and we'll just be climbing straight up to 330. So let me go ahead and get that put in, and then we'll go ahead and push, start the engines, and taxi to 18 Center for takeoff. You know, I don't really do all this streaming stuff. I have a lot of friends who do it. You know, Colton, he's over on his Twitch channel. I try to remember to do like these link things. I'm just, you know, I'm good at doing one thing, and that's pretty much flight simming. So let's go ahead and open up Navigraph charts. I need to go ahead and get my charts here so I know exactly where I'm going. Sometimes I end up going to the wrong spot, so charts help out a bunch. Okay, so it's going to be a pull straight out here. We're going to go down Yankee. I'll go ahead and, I don't know, I'm not going to risk putting it on stream and getting in trouble for it. So we're in the UPS ramp, which is shared with UPS and DHL. We'll push out of there. We'll take the Yankee Delta Sierra to 18 center. We'll be crossing runway 18 left. So yeah, we can go ahead and get started here. Go ahead and remove the parking brake, and we'll start our push here. And we'll start our number 1 engine. Unfortunately, in FSX, you can push straight back. Some people have good luck when it comes to pushing in an actual direction, but unfortunately, I'm not one of those people. So I get to push straight back, which is amazing. So I may have confused my IRSs. I don't know. I've I had to slew over here because there's no menu that shows you where to. It's not like X-Plane. It doesn't show you like where you need to go or anything. It's just like, So, looks like we're getting where we need to be here. Both the engines are started. We'll go ahead and turn off the APU. And isolation is going to go off. Packs are on. I believe that may have just, yeah, there we go. Alright, we're finishing up our push here. Yeah, we'll go ahead and stop it here. Maybe, if it'll let me. There we go. FSX isn't good about, listening to what you want it to do. So it looks like we're about where we. Let me turn my mic down a little bit. Let's see, it's like blaring in your ears. Alright, emergency lights are not armed, so we'll go ahead and arm them. So those are good, and we're now going to start our not so lengthy taxi to 18 center. So we're going to go ahead and give her a little throttle to get over there. We're not heavy today. We're not really carrying any cargo. We're just repositioning it over to Atlanta. So we're gonna make a left here, and then we're gonna make a right on the next taxiway. All right, you're about to start hearing a lot of like bumping noises. It's because the FS Dream Team scenery is funny like this, and it just makes a lot of banging noises as you taxi, which gets kind of annoying. But yeah. So we're going to turn here onto Yankee, and then make a right here onto Delta, and then we're going to cross 18 left. We do not need to announce it because we're not going to be on BATSIM today. I don't see a point of flying on BATSIM if there's no ATC on. I don't see a point in flying on the network. I mean, at that point, you just have to deal with idiots on Unicom who are taking off the wrong runway, and then your streamers are like, wow, I'm just not going to come to this airport. So up here, we're gonna make our right here onto Sierra. And there it is. We're on Sierra. Cool. And we'll go ahead and turn off the taxi and turn on the landing. And just a quick fun fact for you aviation people, landing lights stay on below 10,000. Above 10,000, landing lights go off unless company says otherwise, which they can because they have that amazing ability to tell their pilots what to do and when to do it. So we're not going to turn on here. We're going to pass Sierra 7 and take Bravo onto the runway. We're going to take full length today because why not? So we'll make a left here. And we're now lined up on, well, lining up on 18 center. So before we take off, we'll go ahead and line up here. Just slam on the brakes because the plane doesn't like to stop. Put on VNAV, and yeah, I can't get to it because FSX is bad, but Yeah, that's good. Let's do, all that looks good. Everything else is, yeah, all this looks good. Flaps are set. We're going to be RNAV2 ribs. That looks good. We'll double check our flight levels. 330. Yep, that looks good. VNAV, LNAV's on. We'll take off. We'll engage the autopilot and turn on auto throttle. Cool. Alright, let's do it. Actually, no, let's not do it yet. Let's do takeoff. V1, 138, V rotate, 144, V2, 151. Cool. Alright, now everything's checked. V1 is operable. And toga. And as you can see, I am being consumed by my seat. I hope you all enjoy the great sounds of FSX slamming me into the runway for no apparent reason because, well, I guess it is a reason. It's FSX. V2. We're going to rotate here.
Positive B. You're up.
Gear up. Auto. Do flaps up 1. Auto throttle
Flaps
on.
5. Flaps 1.
We're going flaps 1 so we don't die, and we'll keep flaps 1 up through about, we'll call it 2,000. We won't be able to get up to 240 for a while here. Go ahead and go flaps up so we can get that climb going. And here's the outside view, and I'm going to mute my mic so you guys can hear the climb out. Well, apparently my thing here doesn't want me to hear it, so I'm gonna stop that audio there and figure out what the deal is. So apparently it's not transmitting the audio from the game. I don't know if you guys can hear it now. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. If anybody's watching, just kind of let me know. I don't know if you can or not. Alright, so I'm gonna, according to the desktop audio on the stream, you can't hear it. I don't know if this thing is just not telling the truth or what's going on here. I'll go ahead and go over here and see if I can, what I can do. But from what I've observed here, I don't think this is going to work out. It's always something new here in the wonderful world of my streams because nothing ever works out the way it's supposed to. So, I'm looking at it now. It says it's transmitting audio. It could be just, I don't know. It looks like it is. It might drop. I don't know. We'll find out. I'm just going to mute my mic and maybe you guys can hear the plane or maybe it'll just be dead silent. We'll find out. It's kind of unfortunate. This plane's too good to not be observed by the human ears. So let's check out the flight progress here in the FMC. So we're looking good here. We're climbing pretty well. We're gonna go ahead and cut those guys off. On the FMC, we're going to be leveling here to get up the speed we need for the climb. As we pass through the higher flight levels, we're going to need more speed to stay airborne. A lot easier to stall as we get higher up there. So we're going to be getting 345 of the climb out here, so we're kind of leveling the nose when we get speed here. 345 for the climb. That's going to be indicated, not across the ground. So across the ground, we're going about, I can't do that kind of math in my head, but it'll probably be somewhere around 450 maybe. So all of this looks good up here. I don't know if there are any AV geeks in the channel that know the top altitude of the 7.5. Feel free to let me know, because I'm not sure. We're not taking it very high today. I've taken it higher over to Miami and over to LAX. So I don't know what the deal was with the audio there. It just wouldn't. It seemed like it wasn't working out real well. It was just a fluke, probably. So we're looking pretty good here on this flight. We're back to climbing now that we've got our speed back up. I'm thinking about maybe today doing some FS 2020 flying. I don't know if that's something I should do or not. Anybody's watching and think I should, just let me know. See, I'm kind of laughing on the inside right now. I'm looking back at one of my streams, or it may have been a video. No, it was a stream. C-152 VFR around Grenada, and the picture is me flying through clouds. So I bet the FAA is just loving that one. VFR through clouds is not something you see every day. Well, you're not supposed to see it every day. Never thought I'd pull myself to fly for DHL, but here we are. So we're back to climbing at a decent rate. A lot better than we were last night in 7.6. Smith Center was having some fun with us. Not really, but sure. Climbing at about, we'll call it like, heck, we'll say it was probably about 600 feet per minute, and it was not a good climb rate. It was very bad. Let's see how we're looking here on this flight plan, or how we're looking on our flight path here. So we're going to be 321 in the climb. We'll go with the 345 in the Mach 0.82. Yeah, we'll definitely get there in good time. When you go 170 on the cost index, you get there pretty good. Depending on how long it takes, I maybe kind of sure why not do a return flight. Might actually do that one on that too. I don't know. Depends on how much fuel I have left. As of right now, it's projecting us landing it with 61,500 pounds of fuel, which is not too terribly bad. Wind is projected to be 270.24, which is believable. Let's check some numbers here. Yeah, that all looks good. I feel like I'm forgetting to do something, but as far as I know, I've done everything I needed to do. So from here, I guess it's just hopefully smooth sailing over to Atlanta. I've just now realized apparently I'm streaming in 1080p 60, which is, I highly doubt, good for my graphics card. But I mean, I guess we can. I mean, I'm looking at my stream here, and the quality on the stream is better than the game itself. So you guys are seeing it a lot clearer than I'm seeing it right now. I don't have a, well, I have a face cam. I'm just not gonna turn it on. It would show you guys, but. Well, I mean, I'm not real good about checking the stream chat, so if anybody says anything, just bear with me. I'm looking at it now, so if you guys say anything, I should be able to see it. Or a singular guy, because according to this, one person's watching it, and I don't know if it's counting me or what. So we're negative 25 Celsius in the fuel tanks, which is not too terribly bad. We have 34 miles to get to 268, which I think we can do that easily. That's another, it's about another 6,000, roughly about 6,300 feet, which is easily completable by 32 miles. Considering our speeds and whatnot, we should be able to do that easily. Oh yeah, for the guys over in ZME who are watching, I got back real quick from my RC airplane flying because it was way too windy. Just way too windy. Let's fix that. TCAS is on now. Not that we need it, but we're not on bad sim, so who cares about TCAS? Yeah. Everything looks good on the overhead panel, which is it's very good. Gonna go to the outside view. I'm gonna go ahead and grab some numbers over here on Navigraph. So we'll be taking the ILS right left into Atlanta. So our ILS frequency is going to be 109.3, and the course is going to be 095. And there it is there. Cool. Alright, all our numbers are in. For the rest of this flight, all we're really going to need to do, it's not going to sound like fun, but all we have to do for this flight is, once we're level at 330, set our altitude that our bottom is going to be, which I believe it's 2,900. Yep, there it is. So 2,900, it's going to be our bottom. So as soon as we hit that, we're going to set that to 2,900, and it'll ascend by itself, which is the whole purpose of VNav and LNAV. And on that descent, all we're really going to need to do that is manual is pull out and push in the speed brake levers. So just give it what you think it needs to maintain a decent amount of speed and a decent descent rate so that you can get to your destination and not have to intercept the glide slope at like flight level 330, which would not be fun. So I believe after this flight I will be going to Memphis International in real life. I'm going to be going plane spotting today, so that's going to be fun. We're going to have a pretty heavy push today. Hoping to see some 7.4s come off of 1.8 right, but I don't think that they will be because that's my luck. I mean, every day they push them off of 1.8 right. Every day. And the one day I go to the airport, they just don't. They push them off of 1.8 center. I see the big tail sticking up, but I don't see the plane. See Colita over there. See Atlas. I see all those guys. And I get to see them once they pull up from behind the terminals, and they're too far out from my camera to even know what they are. So it's like, yeah, you know what? You lost that one. Doesn't matter. So we have 55 miles to get up to 330, flight level 230, and I've just been saying 330 just for the sake to save time. I know it's not proper phraseology or whatever you want to call it, but I know proper phraseology. If you guys have ever heard me on that sim, I tend to know a little bit about what I'm talking about, just a little. Yeah, and for anyone who's watching this, if you want to come to ZME and fly, you're more than welcome to. We have a lot of great controllers down here. We have a great staff team, great mentors and instructors down here that are on way more than you would expect. Like, they're always online. I mean, you send them a message, they're going to respond in like an hour. I remember my first time I emailed them. I mean, it took a couple days because I was new to VATSIM, but I mean, within a couple days, they were like, you know, this is what you need to do, get you set up, and we'll get you an instructor. And it's great down here, right? ZME's great if you want to come fly down here, if you want to come control. We have a lot of patient controllers down here. Me, sadly, not being one of them. I'm not patient. Well, depends on the situation. If your call sign is Virgin 353, I'm not going to be patient with you. Anybody else, you have a better chance than him. We have, I'm good friends with two of the other tower controllers down here. We have Seogen and David. Those are some two really great tower controllers. I've controlled with them. They're great. And I've recently joined them in the S2 gang, which is tower. So yeah, let's double check the wind. Push the yoke down into the ground here. We'll double check the winds here. We're 270 at 25. And it's off of our tail, so we've got a 25 knot tailwind. We're booking it there. This is how you get your packages on time here, folks. Which hopefully doesn't mean that I'm gonna have a 25 knot cross from. Oh Lord, I don't even know my directions anymore. What am I heading? Am I heading east? Yeah, I'm heading east. So wait, no, I'm not heading east. Yeah, I am heading east. So okay, I just went quiet because I've just broken my brain. I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to orientate myself, and I mean, if I were to orientate myself the way my brain was just orientating it, my plane would be upside down, backwards, and flipped inside out 12 times. I don't know. I mean, I'm about to make a whole new direction on my compass with whatever math I just tried to do. Fly heading 800. Okay. I have a story for you guys. I know I'm talking a lot. I'm sorry. Probably talking your ears off, but a lot of times on FSX, when I used to be an idiot, I mean, I still am an idiot, just even more of an idiot, they would tell me to fly a heading. This was always out of Atlanta, so I had the worst experiences out of Atlanta. I'd be told to fly heading like 360 and be like, all right, I'm gonna turn whatever 360. Cool. So all of a sudden I'm turning. Well, I'm supposedly turning, and then it starts going past 360 and starts going up to 400 and 500, and then I'm like, wait a minute. My engine starts spooling up, overspeed warning. So I'm like, oh, nice. It was my AS Mach hold, not my heading. So unfortunately, I have clowned multiple times on the wonderful world of FSX, and I've been laughed at by Atlanta controllers and Memphis controllers. What I did last night in Memphis was probably one of the dumbest things a person can do. And I was loaded up with enough fuel to make it all the way to the other side of the world, and I was flying from Memphis to Atlanta. So I confused my plane to the point to where it just said no more and the game crashed. So that's what happens when you make me the captain of an aircraft and assume that I know what I'm doing when it comes to running numbers in my head. Well, it looks like at least one person's sitting here putting up with my crap on stream. I don't know if it's just glitched or someone's actually watching. But I'll take it either way. Alright. We now have a jet stream, which is, or a chemtrail, or whatever you people like to call it. I call it either. But there is DHL, right there. Let's see what it looks like from the ground. There it is. Oh, sad face, you can't see it. And this is literally what I see whenever I go outside. I mean, I walk outside, and there is, I mean, I just look up, and there are chemtrails, and then you just see aircraft, and wow. And I wish I had a camera that was that good. I mean, I could just zoom in and see that. I mean, that's something I'd like to see. I mean, not necessarily DHL, but maybe like FedEx or something. So you can see we're throttling back just a little bit here. You know, the plane knows how to do math a lot better than I do. So let's check these numbers out here, shall we? So we're hitting our cruise altitude, which is why we're throttling back. It makes sense. Sadly, we'll only get to cruise at 330 for about like 2 miles, which is so we'll be going down to 2900, which I'm just gonna level off here 300 feet below, because by the time I get up to my cruise, it's gonna be top of descent time. So we're going to be down to 2,900 for the ILS intercept, 8 left. Let's do this. And I have, like, I'm doing 107.9% throttle trying to get it up to where it's supposed to be. So we're definitely not leaning out during this flight. Company is not going to be happy with how much fuel we're burning on this flight. But here it is. DHL 75, cruise altitude. Hope everyone's happy seeing this. I know I am. I mean, I know if I was in a FedEx 75, it would have been up at flight level 1 like 5 minutes after. And these 75s climb like rockets. If you put in the right numbers, this thing's going to climb out like a rocket. These guys fly over my house all the time in real life. You got an MD-11 that flies over my house 800 feet off the ground, and then the 75s fly over already like 4,000 feet up. It's ridiculous. I mean, I'll be outside swimming in my pool, and you see the MD-11s that come over and blow your eardrums off. You got to pretty much go under the water just to keep your ears. And then the 75s come over, and you just look up and you're like, oh wow, I didn't even realize I was flying over because it's so far up, can't even hear it. Plus the 75s they're pretty quiet, but whenever they're going full throttle, you're right in front of that engine. They have a good bit of noise behind them. This guy's flying to Memphis. I mean, recently we've had Delta flying into Memphis on the 75-300, I believe. Yeah, and I don't know why. I mean, I'm not gonna just like hit up my man, the owner of Delta, and be like, hey, why aren't you flying into Memphis in your 75? I don't care. I mean, I get to see the plane. That's all that matters. I've gotten some good pictures. I don't really share the pictures with people because, you know, my whole trust issues thing. I don't want people like sending out my pictures that I've taken and claiming it as their own. I send some of the pictures I'm proud of to people I trust, but that's about it. So we're up here at, I don't know, I don't believe the 7.5 PFD shows you when your top of descent is. I know the lovely 7.6 does, and here it is, top of descent here. The 7.6 shows you your top of descent on the PFD, because the 7.6 is a very good airplane. I like how it's pushing my throttles forward, trying to maintain a speed on the descent. That's what happens when you got a 170 cost index. So I mean, you can literally see back behind us when we turned back there to get on course. See back there where we turned to get on course? We had just hit cruise. We stayed at cruise for about 6 miles. 6 nautical miles, and then we throttled back, and well, we're going 83 throttle to maintain. We want to maintain a good speed on the descent, because company. You know what I'd like to see? It would be very, very stupid, but what I would like to see maybe one day in the future, it'll probably be long after I'm long gone and dead and gone. I want to see Atlas start flying 7.5s. I mean, that would be a hoot. I would be laughing. That would, I mean, what I would give to see that big old Atlas on the back tail of a 7.5. Oh man, that would be funny. I mean, people who are watching my stream who don't know anything about aviation are like, oh yeah, that'd be a lot of funny. Well, what does this mean? Well, Atlas, the only Atlas planes I've seen are the 7.6s and the 7.4s, and I'm pretty sure that's all they fly. The Dash 400s and the Dash 800s, and the 7.6 Dash 300, something like that. I don't know. And when you're going 110% throttle for your descent, that's how you do it right there. There's something I've always wanted to know, and it's, are you supposed to... I mean, I know, from my knowledge pre-existing, I know you're supposed to keep your, the cost index is set by company, but what, are you allowed to change the cost index for your descent so your plane doesn't overstress or overspeed? Like, is it something you're not supposed to do because you just run the numbers before the flight starts, or can you just change your cost index during flight? I mean, obviously, I could just engage speed mode if I was super concerned with it. I mean, if I was really concerned about it, I would go to speed mode, set 250, and descent. I could choose my own descent rate. But I mean, you can see right here. I mean, this thing gets right at the red, but it doesn't get to it. I mean, the plane runs the math. It's a good plane. I mean, it's worth the money I paid for it. So it does everything it can to keep it at the highest speed at 170 cost index to maintain a good speed during the descent to keep making good time. I mean, if DHL was this good in real life, I might actually start wishing they were shipping my stuff. But as of right now, I'm more of an Atlas and FedEx person, because those are about the only companies I trust. So as you can see, this is our descent right here. We got a nose pitched down. Let's go ahead and check this out. Let's see, we're pitched down about 1.5 to 2 degrees. It's not that big of a pitch down, but as you can see, we're descending pretty good. Probably about 1,500 a minute. So we'll go ahead and check all this out. We're going full speed brakes. I can change my trim for my yoke here. My real life yoke, not the simulator yoke. All of this looks good. Yeah, everything looks good here. yeah, I don't really see anything wrong with the descent as of right now. I haven't hit anything stupid. Nothing stupid has happened. We got the speed brakes all the way out. It looks like we pitched the nose down. And look at it's got some good wing flex. To be quite honest with you, I've never really seen 7.5 wing flex because I don't really look at the 7.5 that much. They fly over my house, but you never really get a good look at the wing flex. Because they're on climb out, so they don't have that much. Depending on the wind, it depends. But other than that, we'll go ahead and turn this puppy on. Start radiating the squad. So we're now going to cross Maddox, and getting down to 17,300. Not that bad of a descent. We have plenty of time to get down there, and we're making good time and speed. You can see our descent rate has increased, but we'll be slowing to 250 at Yaba. So once we hit Yaba, we'll be going down to 250 knots and down to 9,000 feet. Which at that point, 250 knots or less, under 10,000 according to the chart. Atlanta East Flow, which is what we're simulating here, which means crossing Glavin at 12,700, 250 knots. So let me go ahead and program 250 at 12,000. Execute that and see what kind of numbers it runs there. Alright, yep. So we'll reduce to 250 at Glavin now for the east flow simulation. We'll be crossing. Actually, I may have looked at the chart wrong. I think is it 13 or 12. Let me see. So, landing east, expect to cross at 250 knots or less. At and maintain 12,000. Landing west, expect to cross 14,000 at and maintain speed at pilot discretion. So, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just move this over here. I'm not doing anything here, but you can see landing east, expect to cross at 250 knots, 12,000 at and maintain. This is 250 at or below 250 knots, and landing west would be 14,000 feet. So that would mean landing west would be right to left, and landing east would be left to right. So this is the approach chart into Atlanta for the Glavin 1. I just wanted to show you guys the restrictions there and the flow. So I'm not trying to pirate anything or break the law. I just wanted to show everyone the flow there so that everyone knew I was being honest about that. Other than that, you can see we're slowing down to 250, which in theory we would be overspeeding by 10 knots, but we could go flaps 5. I believe it's flaps 5. Yeah, flaps 5, and the 7.5 would be flaps position 1 down. So flaps 1 is flaps up in this plane. So we're flaps 1 right now, and flaps are all the way up, but speed brakes are out 100. So 250 knots. We're gonna be keeping the throttles back pretty good. Auto throttle has us at idle right now because we were in upwards of 330, upwards of 330, bottoms of 340. So you can start seeing our approach transitions there. We'll go ahead and go to the approach and the ILS 08 left. As you can see on there, you see Navy, Laurie, and Yaba. Laurie is the first one on the ILS 08 left. So once you get to Navy, that will turn you. You will fly the Navy, and then you'll make a left turn onto Laurie to make a straight in on the ILS 08 left approach. So yeah, You'll do the Jazz transition. What'll be the approach transition? I believe I think it's the Zelo, or I think that's the 2-6 right transition. There's two different transition fixes you can run. Jazz is for um, the ILS. I believe that one is the aircraft knows where it's going. I believe the other transition is vectors by approach or by ATC. Missed approach here is going to be climbed to 1,500 left, then climbing left, turn to 3,500, and outbound VOR radial 005 outbound to Troy's, and the 15 DME ATL and hold or as directed by ATC, because it's hard to work yourself in as is into Atlanta, but if you have to go around, it just makes everyone's life that much harder. So as we continue our descent to 10,100 feet at 250 knots, you now see Jazz, which is the official approach transition for the ILS intercept. In theory, you can intercept the ILS all the way out at Jazz and get on the glide slope at 5,000 feet. I believe the highest you can intercept is, yeah, according to the chart, it's 5,000. I think I've done it maybe at 8,000 one time when my plane just didn't want to descend because I was carrying so much cargo. It's a lot easier when you go lower in heavy boy planes. That's why whenever I'm streaming, you guys will hear a lot of noise in the background. It's going to be airplanes flying over. So, company, we're going to go ahead and go landing lights on. I don't know the official procedures for DHL because I am not affiliated with DHL, nor do I want to be. We'll go ahead and speed brakes out there, see how fast we're going to go there. It's going to pull us back. We're only going down to 10,100. So that should be good, and I'll start reseeing myself on the ILS 08 left approach chart momentarily. Well, I appreciate whoever's been watching this entire time. I don't know if it's just saying that's me or if someone's actually stuck around this entire time. Let's see how our numbers look here. Everything looks good here. Literally everything just looks great here. I don't have anything wrong with the plane here. I think everything's just fine here. Everything looks good on the FMC. The plane's doing right. FSX is having a good day so far. So if he keeps up the good work, maybe later, I don't know, I got to figure out if I'm going to the airport or not. I'll let you guys know. And I may even live stream if I am eligible. I don't believe I'm eligible to live stream from mobile. I think it's like 1,000 subscribers or something. I only have 4, so. But yeah, we're now turning right direct to Yaba, which is going to be. Let's check this out. I believe it's on the star arrival. Let me check this out. Yes. So this is where you transition. Southern is where you transition from that. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. So the southern waypoint here is what determines if you're going to turn to go to the west flow or the east flow. So if it's east flow, you're just going to make a right turn here on the Yaba Navy and then make another left and intercept. But if it's going to be west flow, you're going to just keep flying southern down to Hog and then make a left turn and fly those. But everything past Kiwi is going to be vectors. So Zelo is going to be the transition for the ILS 26 right, and you'll have to fly vectors from that, which is why I don't like it when it's west flow and there's no ATC online, because it makes our life a lot harder as pilots because, well, we're not trained to vector ourselves. We're used to people who vector us. But I'm just your everyday VATSIM pilot, so I'm not really going to question it there. I believe that might be Atlanta there. I'm not quite sure. I can't really see anything. It's too early to tell, but we'll find out. Didn't mean to do that. One thing I really want to recommend to you guys is if you want to get a good 7.6 for a good price, I recommend the Level D Simulations 767. I heard good things about it from other people. I was trying to debate between the 7.4 and the 7.6. I decided on the 7.6. It was a hard decision. I've wanted a 7.4 for the longest amount of time, but I just gave in, and I snagged the 7.6. It's a very good level D 7.6 is something you want to go for. You want to go. It's really really good. So here's our 7.5 coming in here. We have a little bit of flaring going on. We were going full speed brakes on the descent there, so we're now going to descend onto Lari, which is the turn right before the Jash ILS-08 left intercept, which means we're now going to need some speed brakes because we're going to need to slam this thing lower. So we're going to be down to 5,000 feet, and once we're at 5,000, we can engage approach mode. You don't have to be at 2,900 to intercept. 5,000, like I said, is my personal preference. I mean, I normally intercept at 2,900, but if I'm just, my plane's not doing right, yeah, that's Atlanta there. 2,900 is the intercept on Jazz, but 5,000, no, intercept on, yeah, you guys know what I'm trying to say. So, just double checked, flight radars had a Challenger 300 fly over my house. So yeah, Jazz, normally you would intercept Shell at 2,900 and get on the ILS. Personally, I'll intercept normally at 2,900, but I think this might be one of the circumstances where I just go ahead and take it down to, we'll go ahead and take manual control here and go descend a little bit faster. 2,500 feet per minute should be good enough. Engage approach mode. This way we have the lope down there and we have the glide slope. It's going to descend us on that. We'll go ahead and maintain 190 for now, which means we can go ahead and go all the way down to flaps 20. So I'll go ahead and give it the first bit of flaps there, which we'll go ahead and go flaps 1, which is 240 knots or less. And once we're 220, there we go, we'll go ahead and go to the next flap notch there. And once we're at 210, there's our next flaps. And there's the ILS-08 left there. That's our runway right there. So our next one is going to be 195 or less. We'll go next flaps. That might help. Thinking maybe, you know, maybe I wouldn't die if I... Yeah, my airplane's really pitching up right now. I might have to take this manually because it's not wanting to work out there. We got the flaps coming down. For now, we just gotta work with the plane. It's a bit of a group effort here. It's working on it. We'll give it some more flaps. It's let's see, what's 190 there? The next little notch of flaps there should be good. So yeah, we're climbing now. I'm not quite sure what the aircraft is doing here. We're gonna go ahead and disengage the auto throttle. And I'm not quite sure what my plane was doing just then, but it has caused some serious damage to our approach here. Okay, well apparently approach nothing is working here, so let me just re-engage this. I'm not quite sure what my aircraft is doing. I think it's working. I don't know if auto throttle's working or not. I mean, it doesn't look like it is. Alright, we'll go ahead and go gear down. It's not descending on the glide either, I don't think. Yeah, this is not working out. We're gonna need to descend by a lot. See, this is the kind of crap that you only see when I'm streaming. I mean, this kind of stuff never happens when I'm not streaming. I mean, I have auto throttle on and everything, but I have manual control over my throttle, which is kind of stupid, but... I mean, and the last thing I want to do is have to go around when I'm not on VATSIM because I have no one there to help me. So this is what happens when I fly. So I hope you guys can feel my pain here. My plane does not know what it's doing. There we go. Okay, I think the problem there was yeah, I figured out what it's doing. So once we get that throttle back there, we will get the plane is let's see how we look on the Pappies up there. I can't quite see them. Let's see if I can zoom in. They haven't rendered in yet, but my render distance is up all the way. But once the aircraft decides to slow down just a little. Let's make sure I have the right frequency in 1093, 095. Yep, that all looks good. So we should be doing an actual intercept now, so everything should be going better now. Yeah, this looks a lot better here. So yeah, there's that amount of flaps. Everything looks good here. I think before I had a fluke with the autopilot. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Okay, we're alright, landing checklist. Flaps are 25. We'll do flaps 25. Gear down to 3 green. Approach mode is engaged. Frequency checks. Final approach speeds are there is no Pappies. I like how I'm picking up the Pappies over there on the runways I'm nowhere even near. It's kind of weird. All right, let's do. All right,
Checklist.
landing checklist.
Speed brakes.
Armed.
Gear.
Down in 3 green.
Flaps.
Let's do 165 knots. Flaps full.
1,000. Flaps 30.
Landing checklist.
See, this plane doesn't let me do anything that I want with my flaps. Like, look, I just set it to that. If I do 30, it's going to go back up to 25 launch. Look, it's trying to bring my flaps all the way back up. I'm not quite sure why it does this. But, I mean, I don't know if it's something I've done or if the game's done or anything.
Approaching minimums.
We'll take manual control here. ILS did a kind of crappy job, as you can see how high I am.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
I bet Colton Stream's gonna have a much smoother landing than that. I mean, it wasn't really that hard, but it wasn't really smooth either. We'll be exiting left on Alpha and taking Alpha to the ramp. If we can actually stop this thing. Going full reversers. We're gonna exit on the high speed exit here. Alright, reversers off. We'll go ahead and let the flaps up. Cool. Alright, we're gonna get off here. Yeah, it's gonna yell at me about my flaps, but I just gotta get off this runway. It doesn't like me giving it that much throttle when I'm trying to get off the runway, but I prefer to not be on the runway and get deviated by an Atlanta controller. Alright, taxi lights on, landing lights off. Cool. Alright, we're landed. We're in Atlanta. Fun. But the fun is not over yet. Alright, we're gonna make a left here. It yells at me for my taxi speed because my flaps are not where they should be. I've never flown DHL to Atlanta, so I guess we could just, I don't know, I think this is the general aviation ramp. I know we're cargo parks. I'm just going to take it where I normally park cargo. I don't know if DHL has somewhere special they park in Atlanta. Hell, I don't even know if they even fly to Atlanta. Pretty sure they do, but I don't really care, to be honest. I'm just flying just to fly because it's fun. But yeah, we'll just take this guy to the ramp and we'll shut her down. One really stupid thing I've done is part of the shutdown checklist is start the APU, so you can actually keep your avionics panels. Yeah, I've clowned multiple times on that and just shut down the engines without even thinking about the APU. So I guess while we taxi here, we can go ahead and start a few things: APU isolation and engine isolation. We can probably go ahead and just start the APU so it can be working on spooling up while we're taxiing. And while we taxi to the ramp there, the APU is going to be starting up, and we'll go ahead and turn these packs off so we do not break the plane. So there's our APU back there. You can see it. We're going to make our right here, and this is like the kind of little hidden cargo area. You gotta really know your way around Atlanta to know this is here. Not really, you just gotta know how to read a taxi chart. So yeah, we'll make a left or a right. If I could see, what did I say earlier? About 30 minutes ago in this flight, I said I don't know my directions. I don't know my left from right, my north from south, and my east from west. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and make a right here, and then we're gonna make another right into the ramp, and then I don't know where we're parking today. I'm just gonna park somewhere and call it a day. So our flaps are up. We're good there. Um, don't worry about these fire trucks. I mean, the AI vehicles and FSX are just straight up stupid. They don't even know what they're doing. They just kind of drive and do whatever. So we're gonna kind of overshoot this line here. I have a little method for my parking here. So we're gonna turn, and I think we had it there. Yeah, there it is. And pull off, and then turn, and then that should be it right there. Parking brake set. Let's do yeah, let's just shut these guys down here. Turn those guys off. Engine pumps are off. It's gonna yell at me about all these because I shut down everything and it doesn't like that. Alright, let's set our IAS Mach to 0. Set this guy to 0 as well. Alright, that's good. Alright, all of these are good. We'll go ahead and start by turning off our taxi lights. Logo, all these position guys are going to go off here. See if these guys are spooling down, if they're already spooled off. The APU is just going to keep them spinning because the APU is cool like that. Other than that, we'll throw some of those guys down cargo doors, open those guys up. We will accept the ground power and turn the APU off. And yeah, other than that, everything else looks good here. Turn all these guys off. Electrical pumps can go off. Yaw dampers are off. Turn off our IRSs there. Let's see, everything else up here looks good. Open those guys up. Disarm those, and everything else looks good. It's a warm day here in Atlanta. It looks like we're plus 13 in the fuel tank, so God knows how hot it is here. So we have successfully relocated our DHL 75 from Memphis to Atlanta. I'd say it's somewhat successful aside from the fact whenever we get back to Memphis and take it back to Cincinnati. It's going to need some airline maintenance because the autopilot just doesn't work, which is epic. But other than that, yeah, I'll see if I can stream some stuff from the airport if I go, which I'm pretty sure there's a good chance I'm going to. But other than that, uh, I think someone stuck around during the whole stream. Whoever that was, go ahead and say who you are now. I think it may have been Chris. I don't know. Doesn't tell me. But whoever it was, appreciate you sticking around. Um, I'm just going to go ahead and end the stream up here. It was pretty successful. I'd say I did pretty good on the landing for it to be in the state it was in. We're not going to really elaborate on that anymore. But yeah, we're just going to go ahead and end the stream here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was a fun flight for me. Uh, hopefully you guys had as much fun as I did. And I'll see you guys later. Maybe I'll maybe do some more flights and whatnot. But other than that,